Are you feeling buried under receipts, reimbursements, and team spending surprises? Well, you're not alone. And what if there was a better way to manage all the chaos without the spreadsheets micromanaging or awkward who spent what conversations? Hey everyone, Jamie Trull here, your favorite CPA and financial educator. And on this channel, as always, I love to talk about tools that can help you run your business better. And today that solution is Bill, formerly known as Bill.com. Now, you likely have already heard of Bill, especially when it comes to where they are a leader, which is in the area of bill pay. So that is where Bill started, and it really grew its empire. And now millions of businesses have either paid or been paid via Bill. So there's a very good chance that you have actually gotten paid by Bill and maybe didn't even realize it. So today I'm really excited to talk about Bill's newer platform, which is called Bill Spend and Expense. And Bill Spend and Expense is all about tracking, controlling, and streamlining your team spend all in real time. Plus, it's totally free to use. I just started using it with my team and I am loving it so far. Now, this video is sponsored by Bill. However, I am actively using this platform and all of the opinions I'm talking about here today are my own. And one great thing about getting to partner with Bill is that means I get to offer you some exclusive perks. And in this case, the exclusive perks include a potential $500 bonus when you get started. Now, if that sounds pretty good to you, then listen up. I'm going to tell you all about Bill Spend and Expense. But if you want to go check it out on your own, definitely use my link, jamietrull.com/Bill Spend. So first and foremost, what is Bill Spend and Expense? Think of it like having a smarter way to issue corporate credit cards, set clear spending rules for your employees, and keep everything organized without having to constantly chase receipts and reimbursements. So one of the great things that Bill Spend and Expense does is it allows you access to business credit no matter the size of your business. You also get to set up tons of various different budgets for various reasons, maybe different conferences or different divisions. You can set up anything that you want within here and assign the amount of money to that budget. And then you can easily add owners, people who are able to use this budget, and also set approval workflows. And at any point in time, you can also really easily edit the policy for the budget. You can block specific categories or allow specific categories, whatever makes sense for the specific budget. And you can set up any number of virtual cards that you want to and assign them to various different owners and monitor the spending in real time, as well as freeze those cards if you need to. And it's super easy to create a new card. You just click a few buttons and it's created. And this is something I love as a CPA, that it syncs directly with the accounting platform that you're using to keep everything organized. And that includes popular programs like QuickBooks Online, Xero, and FreshBooks. It allows you to track spending live, so you don't have to wait for those reimbursement requests to come in. And it also prevents the need for those awkward conversations later. Another feature that I love and am using is that in addition to the corporate card expenditures, you also can reimburse employees for any out-of-pocket expenses that they incurred themselves, like mileage. Who exactly is Bill Spend and Expense for? Well, I have to admit that when I first saw it and heard about it, I thought, well, this is probably for larger businesses with, tons and tons of employees that they have to manage. And the more that I saw how it was demoed and how it all worked, I realized how beneficial it would be for my company, which has 5 employees. So I really don't think you need to have a huge business to make this work for you, especially considering the fact that it is free to use. So I would say that this is great for growing teams and also remote first environments where you want to be able to give those employees a little bit of latitude to spend, but still have the controls that you need over it and the oversight. It's also great for agencies and startups that are managing multiple roles and projects. And I especially love it for service-based businesses that have team expenses. So basically, if your team is spending money on behalf of the business, this is for you. So what I love about this, you can really empower your team to be able to pay for things on your behalf while still having it very much controlled by you. You're not going to have to play expense detective. You'll know exactly what is being spent, when, and why. You can ditch your spreadsheets and the messy reimbursement processes and really streamline this process to make it easier both on you and on your employees. And like I said, there is no cost to you to use this. And another great thing is that if you are a rewards person like I am, you can earn rewards on your employees' spending with these cards. Now, if you are a points and miles person, like I am, let me tell you another great feature is the fact that you can earn rewards with the spending on these bill, spend, and expense cards. And that was a feature I was really glad to see in Bill, because I do think that we should be making use of our business expenditures and earning some type of either cashback or travel points or rewards in some way from all those business costs that we're paying. And that $500 bonus I mentioned, you're going to get that once you sign up and are approved and spend your first $500 on your Visa Divvy card. To make sure you get that bonus though, make sure you use my link, jamietrull.com/billspend. You do not want to miss that extra $500. So when you use my link to go sign up, this is the page you'll end up on, and you definitely want to use this page because this is how you're going to be able to get the $500 credit when you start spending. So let's go through the process. Essentially, you're going to fill out your information to request a demo to get started, and I'll show you what happens once you submit that. So once you get past that step, it's going to bring you here, and you'll be able to watch a little video all about bill, spend, and expense, and you're going to see exactly what you need in order to complete the application. It's really just your main information, legal business information, formation date. So if you're an LLC, corporation, just make sure you have all of this from your documents. Your financial information, because of course you're going to have to connect your bank for this. And so you can do this directly. And then also you're going to have information on you as a business owner, right? So anybody who owns at least 25% or more, you're going to need their information. And you are going to need the authorized signer, which is probably going to be you in this case, to get started. Now, if you're wondering why you need to give this information for your application, it's because with bill, spend, and expense, you are going to get a bill divvy card, which is a credit card. And so they need to be able to do a soft pull on your credit. Now, I did look up information about the credit pull that they do and did confirm that they're doing a soft pull, which means it is not a pull that impacts your credit. It's just to figure out what your credit score is and what your credit limit is. Now, it's important to know that they are going to pull your business credit if you have it, and they're also going to pull your credit as the authorized signer. So in case you're curious, before you go through the whole process to sign up, here's a quick look at the eligibility requirements for bill, spend, and expense. Overall, it really varies, but you want to kind of take a look and see if you would fall into the category that would probably be approved for this, probably before going through and signing up. Now, real quick, to help you avoid the same problem I ran into, I realized that I had my credit frozen, which I definitely recommend, but I had frozen my credit with all the different credit bureaus, so I had to go in and unfreeze my credit so that I could submit this application and get approved. So note that you don't have to go into each of them. They actually only use Experian. So I went in and did a thaw on my Experian credit and then was able to put through the application. Now, real quick break for a not so humble brag, if you'll indulge me. Here was my credit score when I logged into Experian, and I'm very proud of it. It has taken a lot of work to get there, so please celebrate with me. All right, now back to the application. So I went through and put my information into the application, and thankfully before you get too far in and before you even have to put in anything like social security numbers, etc., you're going to answer a couple of questions about your business revenue, your credit score, your cash balances, things like that, and it's going to tell you whether or not you're a good fit. So I got this screen that said, yes, you're a good fit. So that means that I can continue to go down this path. My guess is that if for whatever reason, based on how you answered the questions, you weren't a good fit, you would get a different screen than this. Now, I'm not going to go through every screen of this application because most of it is pretty straightforward. However, I did want to talk about a couple of things that could trip you up. So real quick, when it asks entity type, I always hate this question because it doesn't designate whether it means from a legal perspective or a tax perspective. So as a CPA, this drives me crazy. But ultimately, when banks or credit cards or things like that are asking for this, they want to know what your legal entity type is. So for me, I am an LLC that is taxed as an S Corp. So you might be wondering, should I put corporation in that instance? Should I put LLC? And for this, my legal entity is an LLC. So that is what I'm going to go with. And the other thing to put in here, I wanted to show you guys, there's a lot of different accounting softwares that this is going to integrate with. So QuickBooks Online, Xero, which I started using this year. There's just a ton of various different FreshBooks, which I also talk about quite a bit on this channel. But the reason it's asking that is because Spend and Expense is going to integrate with those platforms. And so that's a really great feature. So you want to pick the one that you are using. Now, once you submit the application, obviously the time to approve can vary, but I will tell you in my instance, I got the approval same day, actually exceedingly quickly. So of course, when I got my acceptance email, I went directly to see what offers I was given. And these were the 2 offers that I was given. Obviously, this is going to depend. It's not going to be the same for everyone. However, this is what they presented me with. Ultimately, there was a standard credit line, which is an unsecured credit line that's typical to a normal credit card, or there was also an option for a secured credit line that would require a deposit. So for this one, you get cash back automatically. However, you would have to actually put a deposit down in order to be able to earn that cash back. So whatever amount you wanted to put against to secure your loan, then you would be able to earn cash back if you went that route. I decided instead to go with the standard credit line, and when I click in here, there is still the ability to earn rewards. You just have to make sure that you spend at least 30% of your credit line each month to earn those rewards. So that's just something to be aware of. And there's a lot of information about the rewards. I'll post the link down below to give you the FAQs if you're curious about what the rewards are. There's all kinds of multipliers for different categories and different ways to cash it in, either for cash back or gift cards or travel credits. And it's also going to allow you to choose how much of your credit limit you want. So for me, I had said I just wanted $5,000. However, it approved me for much more than that. So I could use a sliding scale to decide how much I wanted. However, I'm going to stay at the lower end because I don't really need a ton. And also that means that I'm going to get to my rewards quicker. However, the nice thing is you can request a credit limit increase anytime down the road. So that is a really nice thing. So I just went ahead and obviously always make sure that you are reading all your terms and conditions before you sign up. Don't just click the box. That's true always. And so after I went through the process, I got to the exciting confetti screen where my new line of credit was activated. So I just had to go to my email and find out the details for how to get started to set up my Spend and Expense account. And once you sign up, you can go ahead and log in and you can check out the setup guides, which walk you through the entire process to get up and running on Bill, Spend, and Expense. Also, managing vendor payments. This is something important to know. You will probably see an ability to switch over to payables and receivables at the top. And if you hit that, it's going to take you to this page where you can learn a little bit more about their flagship program, which is around accounts payable and receivables automation. So that's really how Bill came to be. That is their flagship. And if you're constantly doing things like jungling vendor bills, client invoices, this really might be worth looking into. It's honestly a game changer, especially if you're tired of a lot of manual bill pay and it's sucking your time and energy. I know how that goes. I have been there. So I'll make sure to link this down below as well if you want to learn more about the payable and receivables functionality that Bill has. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have questions about Bill, make sure to ask away below. And if you decide to sign up for Bill, Spend, and Expense, make sure to use my link below to get that bonus $500 when you spend your first $500. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.